The polls have just closed in Norwich North in the first by-election to be triggered by the Westminster expenses scandal. The sitting MP, Labour's Ian Gibson, decided to step down and force today's vote after the party investigated his expense claims and barred him from standing again. Our political correspondent, Carole Walker, is in Norwich for us this evening. What's the mood on the ground then, Carole?
Well, George Gordon Brown himself said this was a unique by-election. There has been a lot of anger locally at the way that Ian Gibson was treated. You add into that some disillusion with the Labour government and the fact that the Labour candidate, Chris Ostrowski, has been out of the campaign for the last 3 days because he's in quarantine with swine flu. Now, Labour sources privately are admitting they've struggled to get their vote out. They are pretty much bracing themselves for defeat. The Conservatives have thrown everything at their campaign behind their young candidate, Chloe Smith. David Cameron's been here 6 times. He was out at dawn this morning delivering leaflets. And although Tory sources are saying that they do expect the result to be tight, privately they do think they've done enough to win this by-election. That'll be an important boost for David Cameron and yet another setback for Gordon Brown.
All right, Carole.
12 candidates are standing after the sitting Labour MP, Dr Ian Gibson, resigned. 75,000 people are entitled to vote. Earlier, we got a flavour from some of them.
I think it's been far too intrusive. You know, you've had people knocking on doors every day. You've had more junk mail than the takeaway restaurants put through.
I felt this would be a good opportunity to vote for something different other than the main parties.
I just feel the Liberal Democrats would make a difference. That's just my thoughts, really.
Now it's got to be Conservative because I think they're the only option to really sort the country out.
I've actually always been a Labour voter, but I felt that the Green candidate was the only person saying anything sensible.
I don't trust Labour and I don't trust Conservatives, quite frankly.
For me, I think an MP's job is to represent the people, and I thought that candidate looked the best and would hopefully follow in the footsteps of Ian Gibson. Fingers crossed.
Some of the views from Norwich North earlier today. Well, we can go live now to our political correspondent, Andrew Sinclair, who's at the Dussindale polling station. Andrew, what's the feeling that you've been getting from the parties tonight?
Well, Amelia, they won't start counting the votes until 9 o'clock tomorrow, but all the indications we're getting tonight is that Labour are probably facing defeat here. And if that is the case, the next MP for Norwich North will be Chloe Smith of the Conservatives, 27 years old. And if she does do it, she'll be the youngest MP in Parliament. Labour tell me that in traditional Labour supporting areas of the city, Milecross, Helsden, Catton, the turnout was substantially down. And they believe that supporters have just stayed at home today for one main reason. Ian Gibson. They tell me that that issue kept coming up on the doorsteps. Why did you get rid of our last MP? And that's a question which the party has never been able to properly answer. On top of that, they say their candidate getting swine flu 2 days before polling was the final nail in the coffin, really. He couldn't be out on the doorsteps today encouraging people to vote for him, unlike the Conservatives, who also had David Cameron up here today knocking on the doorsteps from first thing in the morning. So it looks as if Labour will probably lose. They might come second, the Lib Dems probably third.
It will be interesting, Andrew, won't it, to see how the smaller parties do in this by-election. Are you expecting them to pick up votes?
I think this could well be the most interesting point about tomorrow's results, really. A number of parties, the Greens in particular, but several independents, have been making great play of the fact that they're not the same as the main parties, not tainted by the expenses scandal. And I've been told by both the Conservatives and Lib Dems tonight that they have been losing out to the smaller parties. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Andrew, thank you very much indeed. Well, we're expecting the result around lunchtime tomorrow, and for the very latest you can tune in to BBC Radio Norfolk. We'll have full coverage and analysis, of course, on the Keys tomorrow night on our website as well, bbc.co.uk/